Today on Awaken and Ascend, I am super stoked to have my personal advisor here. It's A.M. Williams, and he is known as a leverage leader. He's a strategist to CEOs and consulting leaders in the $1 million to $5 million range who want to actually multiply their impact, income, and influence without having to multiply their effort. A.M. Williams, it is so amazing to have you here. Of course, everyone knows I'm Jennifer Regular, the host of Awaken and Ascend, also the founder of Lighting the Path. And AM, you are lighting the paths of so many people, thousands and thousands, and that's just growing and growing. And I'm really curious about your growth process, how you got here, how you've been increasing your growth, influence, and impact. And mostly just want to welcome you to Awaken and Ascend. So thanks so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jennifer. I absolutely love the growth that you're stepping into, the space, that you're in. Actually, AM was told very early, AM means bringer of the light.
Mm-hmm.
So with what you're doing with lighting the path, and again, my ultimate aim and everything I do is just to really um help leaders become more of the leaders that they were created by God to be. So that is huge for me. As far as my path and getting here, I've been working in like the coaching field for over 20 years. And I've gone through different paths, but the common through thread, if you will, has been the whole emphasis on the individual, the person, the founder, the CEO, the one in charge, the leader, if you will, um, in the organization. Not so much about the tactical things that take place in the business. And for a while I worked in the dynamic of strategy, but I came across something that really kind of pointed me back to showing me what this was really all about. When I had my situation happen in 2007, where the doctors, I had already been previously diagnosed in complete paraplegic, but then they told me um, that, I had this deadly staph infection. And I've gotten to a place where the doctors told me that if I didn't have this kind of surgery they wanted me to have, which was it was an incomplete surgery, but they said if I didn't have it, then I would basically be dead in 10 days. Um, I didn't, I didn't subscribe, to that, but at the same time, I recognized that it was serious enough that I really needed to seek care somewhere else. And while that doctor that I work with was able to address the infection issue, I got to a point with him that it was like, there was no more surgeries to be had. And if I was going to really make it, really sustain life, then I was going to have to make some changes from the inside out. And
Mm-hmm.
so even that pointed me back to the dynamic of, what was going on inside. And it was in that period of time that I heard the voice of God say, something in your life could be leveraged to create something that you want. And so leverage became a huge word for me at that period of time. And just constantly been on this path of like, what is that thing to be leveraged? And I thought it to be so many different things, but what it came back to, what it really came back to was really understanding the original identity, who I was created to be. And as I aligned with that image, then things flow so much more smoothly, so much more easily. And when we walk in how we were designed, how we were created, it is so much more powerful. So leverage to me is so much more than a strategy. I always tell people leverage is not a strategy. Strategy is leverage. What leverage ultimately is, though, is a divine design language. And all of that's looked at through the lens of identity-based transformation and
Mm-hmm.
expansion, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, that identity-based transformation is what's helping leaders to maximize their impact, their influence, and their growth. So really what we're talking about is scaling you. becoming the leader your next level requires, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So if we just take a step back for just a moment and just really look at what is identity-based transformation.
Hmm.
And it's really the process of aligning who you are at the root with the level you've been called to steward. So instead of chasing strategies or adding more effort, it's all about shifting. It's all about reforming to the identity, your root level identity. So the way you see yourself, the way that you show up, and the way that you govern. And that expansion tends to flow from out of that alignment. And so it's not so much about, straining for growth. It's not so much about, um, uh, trying to push more effort to create but more outcomes. It's really about becoming the kind of leader that your next level requires, which is what you were just previously stating. So ultimately, Jennifer, when a person's identity changes, when you become that person that your next level requires, capacity multiplies. Strategies that used to stall, they tend to flow. They begin to accelerate. And because that leader has actually become aligned with the person that can carry that next level.
So when your identity grows, your income flows.
Exactly. I love
Mm.
it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
that's how you're getting that $1 million makers into the 5 million. And not just about that money. That money does a lot of
Yes.
good. But I've heard you say before, millionaires that sleep in their car,
Yeah.
right? And
See,
so what does that say about them? What's going on there, coach? Where's that gap?
I think for so many people look at it like it's this level.
Mm.
It's this destination. But as you begin to talk to people who run $1 million businesses, $5 million business, they'll tell you, man, it's not really. It's not about the money. The money is not necessarily the destination. These leaders are looking to move beyond that. Like there are $5 million, ceilings for people. And mostly because they're trying to do things according to the old way of thinking. So that's kind of like trying to build, a $1 to $5 million business with a $250,000 mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Bible, it talks about you don't pour new wine into old wine skins. And so when you think about the dynamic of wine skins and you look at it through the lens of old identities, rigid identities, rigid belief systems, things that are inflexible and things of that nature, when you get stuck in those old mindsets, conventional patterns, in my upcoming book, I'm releasing How to Make It to the Top When You Can't Take the Stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about conventional stair step logic. And when you get stuck in that way, then you can very well get frustrated and finding yourself like, well, if I can't do it this way, maybe I can't do it at all. But every one of us has our own unique divine design. And when we operate from that place and when we identify from who we were created to be and what purpose we were designed to serve, you find your leverage. In fact, I often say alignment is the truest form of leverage. So when you do things according to the way that you were designed, it just opens up so many things. So rather than trying to scale, like, how do I scale my organization? How do I scale this? You can scale the wrong thing. So I often talk about two types of leverage. There is ambition driven leverage, where it's all rooted in self-reliance. Everything is based on you. You have to try to make it happen. You have to, you just keep adding more, thinking that more effort will get you more of the results that you want. Well, that kind of leverage only creates burnout. You break down. You ultimately set yourself up for disappointment because guess what? You're not only scaling, you know, greater, you're not only scaling the progress that you're trying to make, the more revenue and everything, you're also increasing your effort. And I've had a client, I had a client tell me one time that I don't even want to think about making any more money because every time I think about that, all I think about is just more work. Because that's how they saw it, through the lens of just more work. And so you get trapped into that founder dependency and you can't move forward. And so what we talk about, we lead people not to ambition driven leverage, but ultimately alignment driven leverage, where things flow smoothly. Everything is kind of like it goes downhill. Everything is just, it becomes more easier. It's aligned more to who you are, the design, your design, how you do things, how you move, and you design teams, you design structures, you design systems that function according to the who you are, not just what conventional stair step logic tells you you have to be.
Oh, wow. And you know what I hear in that through and through? The energy that I feel off of that is freedom.
Yeah,
Freedom. And what
yeah,
everyone craves is that freedom.
yeah. And oftentimes when you talk like that, people like, well, that's not realistic because you still have to work hard. It's not that it's not, work that you need to do. But when you're doing something that you were created and designed to do, doesn't it seem like you just, no matter, it may seem complex to someone else, but you could literally stay in it for elongated periods of time. I know when I'm doing my work in identity-based transformation, I mean, 12 hours can fly by. It's
Hmm.
very, very easy. Sometimes I end up finding myself working 16 hours because I love doing what I'm doing. So time is not so much the essence, but you also learn to grow to design systems. You
Hmm.
learn to put things in place and automate things and delegate tasks and things that would make things, takes the quote unquote hard work, the effort stuff out of it. And
Hmm.
it also takes the performance work out of it, which I hope we can get into today too. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Let's do that
effort
because
based
that
stuff.
is so huge. And that is what gets people caught up in the imposter syndrome, into perfectionism, into adrenaline driven change, rather than being more present, more on purpose. And that scaling of you, I really want to get into as well,
Mm.
because you've been talking about that, like scaling you, because you could scale the wrong thing. And all of this takes that alignment. It's continuous alignment. And that's really where the work lies, is that inner transformation, that inner work, that identity work, that getting down to what's really important and moving away from the performance and productivity to be in a place of presence and peace and purpose, truly being on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said a couple of times now, and scaling the wrong thing,
Mm,
it's like what people don't understand is that I don't care how amazing a strategy you may have picked up in the marketplace, maybe from a mentor, maybe watching someone at a distance, and you're saying, well, yeah, if I just did that thing in my business, it could work. But they don't realize the reason why that person is achieving the success and things that they are able to achieve it is because it's aligned with the leader that they are,
yes.
and so therefore it's when I say aligned, it's aligned with their unique strengths. It's aligned with, the things that make them the leader that they are, for that to work for them. Because I guess one of the most simplest analogies I could use is when we think about the book Think and Grow Rich,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Would it be fair to say that everybody that read Think and Grow Rich did not grow rich? Is that fair to say? Well, and
Hmm.
why is that?
Mm,
Because it's not, many people tend to reduce things that they hear and read or see as just a tactic. They reduce it to a tactic and think, well, I'll just do the tactic of this thing and I can make this work.
mhm.
But you can't out strategize identity,
No.
because you can have an amazing system. You can have you can have a great team in place, you can have an amazing system, you can have the structure, you can have those things, but if you're still postured to be the hero or the performer because you feel like you got to do everything to accomplish anything, or you have to be the overcomer, you constantly have to be the one that overcomes things all the time, you will sabotage the system.
Hmm.
You will sabotage the system, you will frustrate the team because no matter what they do, you just continue to keep getting in the way and finding a way to insert yourself into something because you don't believe that, in empowering people to be the best at what they do.
Hmm.
And so, therefore, you frustrate everybody around you because you have not become the kind of leader that can multiply what's in you into the lives of other people.
Hmm.
That requires identity-based expansion.
Hmm.
You have to be able to what's in you to multiply it into the lives of other people. And that's not a self-effort thing, it's an alignment thing. It's not effort-based scaling. It is alignment-driven scaling. It's
Yeah,
all about I'm aligned with who I was created to be, and it flows from me. I'm not trying to achieve something. I'm not trying to, do something I saw someone else do. I'm not trying be to fit into what the market says this is done. I'm doing it out of true, authentic authority. So when we talk
absolutely.
about identity, that's what we're talking about ultimately. True, authentic authority.
Absolutely. And like the tactic of everybody has a blueprint to offer and wants a blueprint so that they have like the magic formula that's going to do it. But we came with a blueprint. We are
Yes.
the blueprint. We've been created with this blueprint. And that's the divine design that I hear you talking about. And so, how do we scale that to have that influence, the growth, and the impact? You call yourself an identity expansion architect. So, I know you know the answer to this one.
So at the end of the day, it's just leaning in and aligning more
Mm.
how you were created.
Uh-huh.
And you're doing something. If you would, rather than saying, well, how do I scale this? And how do I get to this? And how do I get that? If you just simply ask yourself a different question, is this scaling by effort or does this feel true to who I am?
Mm.
Because you know who the people that you're supposed to work with are most connected to? Your authentic authority.
Mm.
Who you are. It's not so much about the information because people can recite information. That's all
Mm-hmm.
performance.
Mm-hmm.
Intellectually, they have it all here. But the true key is embodiment.
Yes.
People actually pay more attention to what you embody
Yes.
rather than what you instruct. So that's a true key. Is this coming from my true authentic authority, or does this feel like effort? And you'll know because it will check off in you. Like you'll feel some pressure in your chest, or
Mm.
you'll feel like, man, this is just draining me. Like everything about this is just draining. It doesn't feel like it's an alignment. There's just it's not, you're not connected to who you truly are. It's not connected. And so therefore, when that happens, it's time to step back. And it may be that it's not that you're doing the wrong, that you're so much caught up in doing something that's not good for your business. You just may not be doing it the right way.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so by becoming who your next level requires, it doesn't mean that you have to change like a chameleon. It just means that you need to become more of who you were already created to be. You
Mm.
can't you can't operate and sustain this level of success with this level of identity.
Mm.
You have to become who your next level requires.
And be able to identify those
Yeah,
gaps, you know?
yeah.
And it makes me think of passionate productivity. And the way I've come to know passion, I'm so grateful for this download I had many years ago, That when you break up the word, right, passion, it's pass I on. That I being your soul's expression of what you're
Mhm.
here to pass on in this lifetime. So your divine design, who you created to be, what your true identity and origin frequency is, and producing from that space to be aligned with it and to be productive in that flow, in that kind of flow, in that alignment, and to be able to scale you, what we've been talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yes.
I called you my private advisor because you are. And you work with many CEOs that, are going from 1 million to 5 million. And there's a lot of people listening that are checking in and tuning into, okay, I need to know more about that. So where can we send them, Coach? How can they connect to you? How can they find out more about what you do, what you offer, what this whole identity expansion is all about?
So I would say that ultimately I have something called the Identity to Income Accelerator.
Mm,
So, a leverage leader is somebody who has the ability to multiply impact, income, and influence without multiplying effort.
hmm
So if you're tired of um, carrying growth on your back and you're ready to start doing it from alignment, then you want to definitely take my Identity to Income Accelerator. It's a 21-day program to really kind of show you where your leverage, not only is where it's leaking, but how to ultimately make the shifts that you need to make. And oftentimes it's not like this big, huge thing. Sometimes it's just simple things in you that you need to tweak and fix so that you can ultimately step into the leader that your next level requires. And you'd be surprised at how that begins to open up opportunities. The key is not to chase opportunities, but to attract them.
hmm
And as you get that magnetic conduction, the ability to attract opportunities, to attract people, to attract the right clients. Everybody's saying, I just need to get in front of the right people. When you become magnetic, you attract the right people. Things begin to come to you that you have been chasing and chasing can never run down.
hmm
So like that's the key. So I'm dropping a link for you that it should be in your show notes about the Identity to Income Accelerator. You want to register to take that. We'll do an alignment call and then ultimately, get you registered. If it's a good fit for you and where you are, we can do this Identity to Income Accelerator. Again, it's just a 21-day program. I think it is awesome. And it's not that we're working together 21 days, but over a period of 21 days, which is we meet like 3 times, and there are a couple of things that we do after, but within that period of time, it will really get you off to the right path. So I strongly, suggest that this is where you are and you're tired of trying to carry it on your back and doing things from effort, and you want to start doing things from your true authentic authority. Identity to Income Accelerator is the right path. Let's get you to a place where you're multiplying your income, impact, and influence.
Look for it. Look for it. It is in the show notes. All you have to do is link into that and you will be connected. A.M. Williams, what else you got for us? Are there any final words? Anything that you really want to make sure people hear that are tuning in right now?
Well, if there was something that I had to say in closing, or was to leave you with a thought, it would simply be this. Your business, your impact, your influence will never raise above the level of your identity. It will never rise above the level of your identity. The next level that you're waiting on, um, it's not waiting on more strategies. It's waiting on you to become the leader who can carry it. And see, that's the essence of identity-based transformation and expansion. So if you're ready to make that shift, please check out the Identity to Income Accelerator. Pathway is designed to help leaders multiply impact without multiplying effort. And so I look forward to seeing you on that call. And know this, it's not about doing more. It's about becoming more. And by becoming more, you will find that you'll do more with less effort.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here today. So grateful for you, AM, and so grateful for each and every one of you that have been listening and tuning in to Awaken and Ascend. Thanks again, AM.
My pleasure.
Okay, see y'all next time. Bye for now.